Assalamualaikum. Hi everyone. To all of my students, thank you again for watching this video. This is the video for the next chapter, which we already finished with chapter 1 until chapter 7. So now we are in chapter 8, which will focus on the communication chapter. So before I start, I'd like to at least know whether you are in a good condition, good health. I just want to remind, wherever you are, be safe, right? Follow the SOP during this pandemic, COVID-19. Hopefully, all of us will always in a good health and condition. All right, so before I start, this is the textbook for this subject, MGT 162. I am very sure all of you know this textbook because I already explained on early of this semester regarding the course information, the textbook, the assessment and all of that. So for those who have this book, you can refer to page 141, which the topic is stated here, organizational communication. Yes, this is a very good reference for you. Besides you just referring to the slide that have been given to you from the platform of YouFuture, Google Classroom, Telegram, and WhatsApp group. I already sent all the materials through that platform. Class, before I proceed, I'd like to explain on the learning objectives. First, as usual, you must know your target. What will you get after we finish this chapter? So at the end of this chapter, I aim each one of you at least may describe the communication process, and you at least can differentiate between the types of communication, formal and informal communication. And also there are several barriers, of course, during our communication process, right? And at the end of this chapter also you may explain the barriers of the effective communication and how to overcome. What are the solutions for that? And you may also identify how effective communication could be achieved. And last but not least, you may discuss the categories of interpersonal communication. If you refer to the slide, there are about 16 categories that will be explained after this. So, what is communication? Right? We realize we already going through the phase of communication. So, what is it? All right. According to Stoner and Gilbert, 1986, they stated that communication is the process by which people seek to share meaning via the transmission of symbolic message. Right? I repeat again, it is the process by which people, more than one person seek to share meaning via the transmission of symbolic message. Okay, next. Definition by Bartle and Martin. Communication is the exchange of messages between people A and B, right, for the purposes of achieving common meanings. Okay, from the sender to the receiver, from A to B, A send an input, and then the transmission process in the middle, and then B receive the message and the message will become as an output, right? And in simple word, communication is the process, just remember the keyword, it's the process of exchanging information. Please highlight this in your slide, which involve what? Involve the process of sending, yang A tadi, and receiving, to yang B, which they will receive the same message. Okay. Okay, class. There is another kind of communication which occur in any organization, which has been called as interpersonal communication. So, what is interpersonal communication? Interpersonal communication involves the process of sending and receiving from the sender to the receiver among individuals, one-to-one or group, right? In a group manner, when they start to talk, write, and use body language like this, right, in exchanging the information. So what I am doing now is the process of communication. Because of why? Because I am the sender and you, all of you who watch this video, is the receiver. So I am sending the message that will be transmitted to you, the same message. It will never be changed. Why? Because I am delivering the right message using the right method. Okay. There are several problems in the communication process when the message that you are trying to send not being delivered as what you want. Later, we will touch on the barriers of effective communication. Why is that kind of thing happen in our daily communication? So, as I have mentioned just now at the first slide, there are several categories of interpersonal communication. If you count in your slide, there are almost 16 categories of interpersonal communication. So I will touch some of them. Face-to-face, also one of the categories in interpersonal communication, which one-to-one. Telephone, which when you are transmitting the message without seeing the person face to face, but you can use the medium of telephone, and with the target, with the aim that the message can be delivered with any kind of medium. So group meetings, formal presentations, memos, traditional mail, fax missions, employee publications, bulletin boards, audio and video tapes, hotlines, email, computer conferencing, voicemail, teleconferences, video conferences, and many others, such as for this era, Instagram, Facebook, all of the social media platform, we can also categorize it as interpersonal communication. Okay, what are the roles of communication? Right. In office, in organization, managers communicate to their staff, to their co-workers for various purposes. What are the purpose of this communication? So first, providing information. To what? To conduct and perform tasks, so that their employees can be more clear regarding the task being given. Alright, next, number 2, to give instruction or to command any action. Okay, number 3, right, to assist managers. For example, if I am one of the manager in one department in any company, I will communicate to the employees in order to assist me myself to coordinate the task, the work, so that the organization goals can be achieved together with my employees. Okay. So there are several steps in the communication process which you cannot melangkau, you cannot skip the step. It will start with sender. Right. From the sender, you deliver the message. So that is the step number 2. You deliver the message, use which medium? Medium is the channel, right? Through telephone, through fax machine, through face-to-face communication. And using that medium, you will touch, you will achieve, you will reach the receiver with that message, and the receiver will receive the same message as what you have sent. It is the process which we call as encoding and decoding. Encoding is from the input of the message, then you decode the message to produce the output of the message. So after the receiver get the message, they will give feedback to the sender. That means that the receiver understand or want to reassure regarding the message to the sender. They at least will respond to the message. And in any communication process, there will always be a noise as the what we call one of the challenge in the communication process, or as the barrier also, noise, and maybe one of the solution for the effective communication. Why? I will explain later. Alright, you must understand first who are the sender, who are the receiver. Sender, in a short, simple word, is the one who convey the information, who send the information. And the sender can be anyone, not only the manager. You also can be a sender when you send to your lecturer a message. And I will also can be a receiver when you send a message to me, right? So receiver can also be anyone, and the number of receiver not only static to one people, but it can be in a group from 2 or more, or many people can be the receiver of one message, right? So what is actually a message? A message is the idea, is the information that being formulated by the sender to be sent to the receiver. So if you can relate with what I am here, with our process, PNP process here, the message is I am explaining to you regarding chapter 8. Alright, what actually the channel or medium, which I have mentioned just now. You can use any kind of medium to communicate through, maybe through telephone, through WhatsApp, through Facebook, through email, through fax machine, through memo. You can just put the memo in your office, maybe the office board, and everyone can see the message. And there are several other channels can be used in communication. So if you still remember, I already mentioned regarding encoding and decoding. What is that? Encoding is when you select the symbols to compose a message. It involves the sender translating the information into a symbol. This is the unique code in communication process, which we call as encoding. When you translate the symbols used in a message with the aim to interpret the meaning, that is called as decoding. So how about feedback? Alright, as I mentioned just now, also feedback is when you react, you give response, you reply. Okay, For example, I send you I PM you a message and you didn't reply any of my message. That we can call that as unfinished or unsettled process, which is hanging because I didn't get any feedback. Maybe the receiver still not received that message. So at least you must reply yes, okay, or any other question just to respond. And what is noise? Noise is any kind of disturbance that may interfere or to become a barrier. Alright, please remember that there are two types of communication. Okay, verbal and non-verbal. What is verbal? What is non-verbal? Okay, in simple word, okay, I prefer to make it simple. Verbal is the normal and formal form of communicating the message, which in office especially we always use the verbal type of communication, which through spoken words, writing letters, memo, newsletter, bulletin board, at least with the target of the message can be delivered in any kind of technique. You not only need to just communicate through word of mouth, you can also type that message. You can change the written communication to like an infographic communication. It also can be called as verbal communication. However, the non-verbal communication is when you use the gestures, body language, and you may express the feeling of emotion. You cry when you are trying to tell something. You other example, you just shout when you're angry. That is non-verbal communication. And there are several advantages of this verbal or formal communication. Formal, which will refer to verbal communication, which first advantage is to record the evidence as a proof. Then second, if the messages need to be referred to in the future, the information that is well kept can easily be retrieved, easy to recover as a backup, right? And number three, verbal communication through a face-to-face meeting does not only speed up the exchanges of ideas, because you can easily get the response very fast, and information will also being delivered at that time. Okay, there are two main channels of communication: formal, informal. Right. So formal, you can see from the chart in your slide, there are only two: vertical and lateral. Okay, vertical, when I say like this, vertical, it refers to downward, upward. Vertical is tegak, lateral, dia boleh jadi mendatar, right? Which refer to horizontal. And other than that, informal channel is focusing on these four: single strand, gossip, probability, and cluster. Okay, I will explain one by one. Single strand tu information pass along a chain from one person to another. Dia ikut rantaian. Rantaian, you know, chain of command tu daripada atas ke bawah, ke bawah, ke bawah, sangat proper dan tak tersebar dengan meluas, sebab daripada boss pergi kat assistant boss, assistant pergi kat head department, head pergi kat chief, chief pergi dekat executive employee, executive pergi dekat middle, sangat lambat dan teratur, tersusun, sangat sopan. Sangat-sangat jarang lah, sebab at this era kita suka sebarkan, semua orang tahu serentak. Ini boleh katakan gossip chain lah. One person telling all the others, especially dalam dunia yang social media macam ni, kita banyak gunakan gossip chain lah. Kata orang zaman fitnah pun ya juga. Okay, probability chain, passing information on a random basis. Dia pilih-pilih group secara rawak. Okay, yang ni bagi tahulah, yang ni tak. Right? Okay, cluster chain, one person passing the information in a group of people. Okay, dia hampir sama. Cuma probability ni, grup-grup mana yang terkena tu dia dapatlah info. Tapi cluster ni kita fokus. Okay, this info is only for the employees in the marketing department only. Okay, dah ada target. Tapi probability chain ni ikutlah siapa penyampai dia yang terdengar at that time. Head of marketing department ada, head of financial department ada. So probability dia employees dalam marketing dengan financial department je yang akan tersebar berita ni. Right? Okay, what are the barriers to effective communication? So first, poor listening, of course. You try to tell your message to other people, but they don't want to listen, and it can be one of the barriers. Why? Because they may wrong interpret that message when they are not listening to your message very well. Okay. Second, semantic problems. It is relating to the language that you use as a sender and different language that being used by the receiver. Kita cakap macam ayam dengan itik lah. Right. Kalau in our culture boleh lagi acceptable dalam Malay culture, Chinese, Indian, kita still use the same language that everyone can understand. But if we try to talk to other people from other country, other culture, different background, it will contribute to one of the barriers in effective communication. Okay, filtering is another barrier. Why? It refers to an alteration of information to make it interesting. You cuba olah, maksud dah lain. Right? It is not very good act and not advisable, because it can be barrier, but sometimes it can make your message become more interesting to be listened to. But just beware for this type of communication. And another one is credibility of the sender. Okay, this means how trustworthy the sender, the source of the message. For example, dia berkait dengan trust lah. You percaya, I am your lecturer, I am expert with this subject. You can trust me and listen to any point that being given to you. But if you do not trust me at all, then the input cannot be received by you clearly 100%, and it may become a barrier. Other than that, emotionality. Relate to the feeling of love, anger, hate, jealousy, so it may become a barrier. It is not good when you are trying to send a formal message in your company using the emotion of anger, for example. Then the receiver will reluctant to receive that message 100%, because you deliver that message with any kind of manner that not being accepted by the receiver. Okay. Other than that, noise relates to any factor that interferes, confuse and disturb the message, because noise selain bising, dia ada menyebabkan bunyi lain. You tengah cakap, bagi example sambil you makan, dia ada bunyi you mengunyah makan pun kind of you akan rasa annoying sangat. Nak faham message lagi, nak dengar bunyi tu lagi, right? Okay, inconsistent verbal and non-verbal communication, which a person conveying information is always said to be effective when he speaks, but the message conveyed are strangely influenced by his non-verbal actions such body movement. Content dah bagus, right? This is the good content, but you use improper body language with a facial expression that, for example, orang nampak tak ikhlas lah, for example, so dia nampak tak konsisten. You nak sampaikan maklumat ni tapi kejap mood you bagus, kejap-kejap hari ni mood tak baik. So use the right non-verbal communication. And other than that, cross-cultural diversity, dia berkait dengan culture kita, our upbringing, which may arise between people from different ethnic group. You bercakap dengan orang asli, for example, you bercakap dengan orang dari budaya Cina pun berbeza, so dia akan disalah erti. Depends on the type of message that being delivered, especially kalau you cakap tentang religion, kan, kepercayaan you pada orang lain, so susah nak difahami. So you must explain and explain again and again for them to make sure that they can receive that 100%. Okay, other than that, trust and credibility, information overload. Okay, trust and credibility. Without trust, the communicating process concentrate their energies on defensive tactic, rather than on conveying and understanding the meaning. Dia macam sekali lalu lah tak percaya, so dia dengar suara you je lah, tapi dia tak try to understand that message. Information overload, ni macam ni pun boleh jadi information overload lah. Saya banyak sangat cakap, you kena use your strategy to stop lah the video. You faham, you continue, because too many things to be sent at one time, kan, right? So saya tak salahkan you lah kalau you tak berapa faham, you just repeat this video, right? Other than that, language characteristic, the use of language. Individuals often use different meaning or interpretation. Kalau kita WhatsApp pun, orang tu tak marah tapi kita baca dalam keadaan marah, sebab ayat dia macam marah, so disalah guna, penggunaan language yang salah. Gender differences pun akan menjadi barrier. Kenapa? Our lifestyle, communication style, dia berbeza mengikut gender juga. Kalau wanita ni lembut, slow, orang katalah sopan santun, bersabar. Kalau lelaki agak harsh, tegas, firm, kan. So dia akan memberi makna yang berbeza, different meaning to the receiver lah, to receive that message. And other factors banyak lagi. Time pressure, macam saya kalau bekerja masa ni, tak banyak point atau example saya boleh bagi pada awak, for example, ataupun physical distraction. Saya tengah cakap ni, anak saya lalu ke, dah saya hilang word to explain to you, and any other kind of barriers lah yang we can relate. Alright class, when there are barriers, you must know how to overcome. What are the solutions? So first, you must always get a feedback. You must always ask to the receiver back whether they receive your message or not, any response, any reply. Okay, second, use simple language. Guna ayat mudah, jangan terlalu bombastic sangat. Guna word yang easy to be understood by the receiver. Third, recognize emotion. You kena tahu at that point the feelings of the emotion of that manager tengah macam mana. You jangan kacau lah, don't disrupt ataupun interrupt. And maybe you can make any other appointment when the situation is not suitable to deliver the message at the time. You can set for another time. Do not make own conclusion when you listen to the message. You must make sure that before you jump to the conclusion, you reconfirm regarding the message. Avoid noise, like what I said just now. Avoid any kind of distraction, physical distraction, noise distraction, because it will make the message become ineffective, or make the communication become ineffective communication. And then understand verbal and non-verbal communication that being used. For example, managers should understand individuals' facial expression. Contoh, ni saya manager semangat ni, tapi awak semua buat muka mengantuk, so saya kena hold sekejap, kena faham. Jangan selfish lah, jangan petikan diri. Message kita je nak orang dengar, tapi you tak ambil tahu emotion pendengar, right? And then create openness, rational and trust. How? Okay. Subordinates always have feeling of insecurity to share their problems. So diri you sendiri yang you boleh try to make them open to share any kind of feeling, so that you can set your own time with them, which is the most suitable time to deliver the message. Okay, how to achieve effective communication? Individual skill and organizational skill. Ada dua, right? Individual skill, organization skill. Okay, individual skill lebih kepada employee, diri kita setiap orang. You can develop good listening skill wherever you are, whenever you are, when people try to share any kind of information, any message, any secret, you try to be a good listener. Encourage two-way communication, at least respond from A to B, B to A to B, not only A to B, right? And then be aware of language that they use and the meaning. Don't make a wrong interpretation. And maintain your credibility. If you are a manager, give a message, deliver a message with the way as you as a manager. Maksudnya jangan macam kawan-kawan, right? Be sensitive to receiver's perspective, because different listener may bring different perspective ataupun different meaning. Be sensitive also to sender perspective. Macam saya lah, saya sebagai sender, perspektif saya macam mana, you must understand. And I need to understand you as the receiver. I need to understand your perspective. For example, at the end of this video, I will ask you to give feedback kan dekat exit link. At least I tak shock sendirilah, and I will try to improve. Okay, organization skill lebih kepada company. You must always do a follow up. Follow up ni depends lah on event, on schedule, on the task, on the workloads given by the managers, right? Okay, regulate information flow, supaya flow tak bercelaru. Hari ni maklumat ni masuk, esok bertindih-tindih maklumat. So you just need to schedule the information flow to make it easier for the receiver to accept and understand the message. And last but not least, understand the richness of media. Media ni kita boleh kata medium lah, channel. Banyak channel sebenarnya. Ada time you tak sesuai face to face with your manager, you can use other technique through writing a letter, through message, WhatsApp or email or other channel that is more suitable for that time. And maybe later you can set another appointment to deliver the message through face to face. Okay, another tips to ensure you get more effective listening, in order to achieve effective communication, first you must be very active and focused, pay attention, ask questions. Ini yang saya selalu suka lah kalau student buat. Keep open mind and assimilates information. However, less effective listening criteria dia macam mana? Orang yang diam, passive, laid back, easily distracted, ask no question, keep close mind, dia tertutup tak nak terima, and disregards information. Dia abaikan maklumat tu. Kalau yang assimilates information, dia manfaatkan, dia panjang-panjangkan maklumat tu. So dia adalah kontrol antara effective dengan ineffective listening. So that's the end of this chapter. Thank you. Any question, please just PM me, or else drop your in the comment section under this YouTube platform, or you can use any other platform that is familiar to you. That's all for today. Alhamdulillah. Thank you again, and see you for the next chapter.